My name is Matt Leo, and we had the opportunity yesterday to judge the Glen Ag Expo in Orland, California. Clay Carlson called me some time ago and asked if I'd do it virtually for him, and I gave it some thought we'd change some things up and maybe sweeten the pot for the kids and do it a little different. My son Tristan and I went up there yesterday, and instead of judging them virtually on the screen, we went around to each person's home where they had their cattle at. We visited with the kids a little bit, went through the cattle, saw them live, and I think it was very beneficial. I sure enjoyed it. It was a fun judging experience. To you parents and leaders out there, I commend you. You've got some great young people. I know these are some challenging times we're in, but they were enthusiastic about their projects, very knowledgeable, and you could tell they hadn't given up working on them. The cattle looked great, and they did an awesome job of showcasing their projects. To the people that put the Glen Ag Expo on, Clay Carlson and the rest of his crew there, you guys have done a great job, and I think what you went ahead doing and stepping up, and I know all the time and effort it takes to put one of these things on. It was first class up there. The support you guys have got locally is awesome, and I think it's a great event, so my hat's truly off to you. Going through the steer classes, we had one replacement heifer, a Hereford marked heifer there. We'll talk about her first. She was a single entry. She's long necked, smooth shouldered, great topped. Got a good little udder on her. She's got plenty of spring and shape to her rib, one that's good on her feet and legs, and I think it's got the makings to go on and be a good cow. We come into our first class of our blue division. We had two really nice steers there, tag number 30 and tag number 39. We opted to go with the 30 steer. I felt he had a cool presence about him, really smooth and neat at the point of his shoulder. He was strong top, level and square through his hip. When he got out and led, he sure got around and moved with a lot of free and easiness off of both ends of his skeleton. What impressed me the most about this steer is how market ready he was for his weight. I believe he weighed around 12-15 is what they had him printed at. He was one that sure was shapely on the top side of his skeleton, really big hipped and expressive down through his quarter, but at the same time, real uniform in terms of the way he was put together. Tag 39 was an awfully nice steer as well, one that was modern in his frame size, had some depth to his body, needed a shot more muscle and substance and bone to him. We move into class 2 on the blue division. We had tag number 29 and tag number 35. 29 was a lot like 30. He was a long-bodied steer. He was real husky in terms of his build, one that had a lot of width and thickness to him. And then he come across tag 35, real practical in the way that he was made. Maybe just didn't have the overall shape and power we find in that tag 29 steer. So we opted in class 2 to go 29 over 35 in the blue division for your champions here. The steer that I really liked an awful lot, we'll talk about him a little later here this evening, is tag number 30. And then for reserve, we went ahead and used that first place out of class 2 in tag 29. Moving into the green division, our first class was a single entry in tag number 46. A calf that was big-footed, he's big-boned, had plenty of spring and shape to his rib. Sure liked the shape he had. He's one we maybe like to smooth him up at the point of his shoulder and square him up through his hip. We come into class 2 after that with tag 31 and tag 41 in that class that came in. We opted to go with tag 31 there. He's a calf that I believe he was a stock and legged steer in there, a black and white calf. Really flashy in terms of his presence. I like how crisp and cool and lean he was up through his front end. His shoulder laid into him flat and smooth at the point of his body, blended back into his chest floor and his foreribs. So nice. A calf that was really shapely and expressive in the way that he was made on the top side of his skeleton. Thick in it. He was expressive through his quarter and deep in his twist. One that had a lot of meat, muscle, and product in him, and at the same time gave you a great look. After that, we went ahead and used tag 41, a calf that I felt maybe just needed a touch more to him. He didn't maybe balance up off both ends, near as square or stout as we see in that class winner, but a useful kind of a calf, one that's fed right. He's practical in terms of his build and sound on his feet and legs. Class 3 in the green division was awfully interesting here. I think you got into a lot of depth and heat here in terms of quality. You've got 5 steers in here, 28, 32, 48, 49, and 38. The calf that was a standout out here was a Hereford marked steer in tag number 28. One that was market ready. He was sound in terms of his running gear. From the ground up, that calf is built awesome. He's big-footed, he's deep-heeled, he's clean in terms of his joints. He gets around the ring and moves like a baby calf right here in front of this young man's barn. At the same time, he was shapely and expressive and powerful in terms of the way that he was put together. in relation to his weight at 1,315 pounds, he's the right frame size. He's the right build and the way he's put together. Plenty of muscle, plenty of look about him. If you're going to get nitpicky on a calf that's this good, he's one we'd like to lengthen him out through his front end just a touch. We'd like to see him tie from his neck to the top side of his shoulder blades and he hook up there just a touch higher. I think that's being nitpicky on one that good to go with this steer. For me out there, I'm a guy that likes looking at show cattle. He was tuned in just right. He was presented to a T. Awfully nice calf. 32 after that is another one that I think is a moderate frame calf that sure is powerful and burly in terms of his build. Maybe just a touch steeper in terms of his shoulder. We'd like to see him have a shot more bone. But in terms of one being having some width and thickness and some moderation and being market ready, he does that quite well. We followed 32 with 48, another long-bodied calf that had some weight per day of age to him. A calf that maybe just had a little bit more front end and chest in him. We'd like to clean him up. And then after that, we went ahead and followed with 49, real long-bodied, deep-sided kind of a calf that was real fresh in terms of his appearance. One we like to give a touch more substance and style to. And we rounded the class off with tag number 38, a calf that's presented well. He's fed really right. Young person's done a good job of presenting him. For me, we just like to see a touch more of him and widen him up. So after that, we come down to our green division overall. For me, it was an easy winner out here in the Hereford Mark calf. That's the kind of steer that I like. He's the kind of calf that I think has got a lot of power and product to him, and he's one that I think covers all our bases quite well. For reserve in the green division, we went ahead and used tag number 31, the calf that came out of Class 2. We come back in for Supreme overall, and I think you've got four really nice steers out here. You've got your tag 28 that came out of your green division. You've got tag 30 that came out of your blue division, and I think they're cattle that are powerful. They've got some eye appeal and balance, both maybe just a little bit different out here. In terms of soundness and quality and presence, I think they're at the top of their game. For me out here today, I like a calf that's more market ready and probably just a touch burlier about his middle. He's a sappier bellied steer, sounder in terms of his running gear. I like how much bone and freshness and power he's got. For your Supreme overall, we're going to go ahead and use tag number 28, the Hereford Mark calf, to be right behind him. Reserve here of your Glen Ag Expo today. We're going to go ahead and pull that steer out of your blue division in tag number 30. Once again, it was a pleasure. It was an honor. Your Supreme steer is tag number 28 with a weight of 1,315 pounds. Your reserve is going to be tag 30 out of your blue division weighing 1,215. Great show, great opportunity. Good job, guys. Keep up the good work. Thanks.